as givers, we give a lot, especially as creatives, right? Like a little piece of us is going out with whatever we're creating.
Yeah.
We forget that our cup needs filled up too. Hey, it's your host, Emily with Poppie Studios. I'm sitting down with fellow creative entrepreneurs as we share our wins, losses, highs, lows, and everything in between that comes from running your own business. So grab a cup of coffee and join the conversation. Welcome to this very special episode of the Wild Leaf Show. I am joined today in the next part of my series that we've been following along with, What I Wish I'd Known. I am joined by the very talented clean beauty makeup artist, entrepreneur, and podcaster, Cassandra McClure. Hey.
Hello.
She is the creator of Lash Finder and host of Clean Beauty Podcast. So she has actually done a whole podcast on what we are talking about today. And what we're going to talk about is what she wishes she'd known about having a clean mindset. Now, if you remember, we talked about this probably back in like September, October, about how mindset can really have a big impact on your business journey from beginning to, even if you're expert, totally experienced. So welcome, Cassandra. Very excited to have you.
Yes, thank you so much. I've been watching. I'm so excited to finally be on the other side of things. And
Right.
This is so much different than like recording podcasts. So it's really fun to do the video. I need to do video.
Yay! Well, I'm excited to have you on. Tell people a little bit about you and your business journey.
So quick little kind of, I guess I started modeling, got into beauty, makeup, went to school in LA and then London. I toured the world as a destination stylist, and I still continue to do that today, but for select clients and events each year. I got into Rising Tide, and through that I met a couple girls who really encouraged me to create my own product. So then I did that. But I had gone through, I basically poisoned myself and my clients without knowing it, using like really toxic products. I was using a lot of fragrances and I was giving myself all these health issues and I didn't know why. And so I found out that it was the things I'd been using for so long. And so once I got rid of them, I felt a lot better. And so then I kind of went from a luxury artist to a clean artist, and I pivoted. And I pivoted a lot in my career, definitely. And through that, you do have to have a clean mindset. So it's been interesting. And then I also ended up developing the fastest, a tool to apply lashes in the fastest way. So traditionally, we use tweezers or our fingers to try to put lashes on, or we hire a professional. But I created a tool that women could use all over the world, and men, to apply lashes in seconds. And so I just saw a need in the market, and I really just kind of went for it and created something pretty amazing called Lash Finder. So I'm excited to share that with you guys too.
Very cool. Very cool. And I love that your journey, you and I connected because of Rising Tide. I had put the feelers out for all these interviews that I'm having through Rising Tide. So I love that you responded that way. It's such a great resource. And I love that you mentioned that they were the ones, people there were the ones who like encouraged you to just go do it. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. There was a retreat, a summit or a retreat called Brand Camp. And I went and we all got to share like our dreams, and we sat in a circle and they were like, okay, what's your dream? And I had one on backup because I really wanted to do the podcast. And I was like, oh, I have this little tool that I want to work on, and I want to, but I was like, I know it's kind of stupid though. So like, let me know, like we can just talk about the other thing. And they're like, no, what is that? And so I created this little tool that holds lashes and puts them on. And then they were like, you need to do this. Like, this has been, something that you want to do for so long, like why not? And so I was like, okay. But yeah, they were really encouraging and amazing. And the women, you lead a chapter too as well?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I lead the Silicon Valley chapter. We're almost on 2 years and we have over 200 people in our group, and it's very, very amazing. And I love Rising Tide so much. And I know Natalie, and it's been cool being near San Francisco where like we kind of have that, go to some of those meetings and then come back. But,
right. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, it all goes back to your mindset though. I mean, like a lot of people ask like how I do it and how I've just really overcome a lot of, different problems, like just within beauty, within my own personal life, my past and all sorts of things, like I always get asked like, you know, or told like, you're doing amazing. Like, I know where you came from. I know the town you came from. I know the struggles you've gone through. And so, you know, I've always been super positive, and I think that's why people like being around me, because I am super positive to them too, and tell them that they can kind of do anything. But you can't tell someone that they can do something if they don't believe it. Like, I mean, you can, but they're not going to change, and they're going to keep going about their life doing the same thing. And so, unfortunately, you really do have to believe it. And so I like surrounding myself with positive people too, because if I have too many negative ones, then they also drain out that like life in me. And so, you know, yesterday I spent the day with my friend Brittany, and she gave me affirmations to tell myself in the mirror. Like, that's the kind of people I hang out with. And even though like I don't, you know, I went to go get like my acupuncture done, and I say them whenever I can, whenever I'm laying down or whatever. But like, she was like, you need to do it in the mirror. Here's some new ones, you know, like,
it's funny you mention that, because there's several people I follow on Instagram that have mentioned, you know, like writing it on the mirror or having it with you. Like, I have my little like abundant affirmations cards that I keep on my desk. So I think that that's all part of the mindset. And it seems cheesy right at first when you start doing it. You're like, well, this is silly, but it really is like, speak it, it happens. And I think that the little cards and writing it on the mirror, like, that is the first step in doing that.
Yes. It's part of your mindset shift, and you have to feel, you hear, monkey see, monkey do, monkey say. You have to do all of the things. And so if you're not doing one of them, you know, and, you know, also speaking it into other people is also really powerful. So I think, you know, if you're not doing it to yourself and you feel like super confident and good, and you don't need those extra little cues to kind of like get your mind working in the right way, because like, if you go back in time, our minds were designed to be in like a fight or flight mode, like saving ourselves from whatever was coming our way. And so we can get into this space where we're just like feeling fearful of, you know, going on a stage, you know, but it's not, there's not lions out there. It's just people. And so we are just, our minds, we have to retrain our minds. And so that is something I've had to do, you know, I still sweat before I do things like this. And, you know, I have to get through it, and I have to do my little rituals. And that's another thing with mindset, like, you know, having some sort of routine. And I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, they feel like, oh, but I do weddings all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I've been there. I know. But when you wake up, you still get out of bed. You still take a few steps, and then there's something there, or there's a little sticky note, or there's, you know, there's still things that you could do from your home every single day, even if it's 5 minutes. And then another thing that, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and that's how I got into podcasting. Cause I was like, oh my God, I could do this. I want to do one too. And, I was just listening to Pivot, by Jenny, I forget her name. And, she was saying how if you don't, or well, she was interviewing someone who was saying that, you know, giving is so great. And if you're a giver, that's amazing, but you also are not reaching your full potential and having others when you aren't doing enough self-care. So you should be doing 5 things that really ignite you and refuel you, whether you're a mom or a photographer or whatever you're doing, in especially in the creative space, because we just go. I wake up sometimes and I'm working from 7 a.m. to 3 a.m, you know, and it's like sitting at a desk, not getting up, not taking that walk, not taking that bath, not taking that time to make my favorite latte or go to the store or whatever. And so like, you should be doing, like, I know 5 things is like, I should do 5 things for myself. And it's like, yeah, put on a little lipstick, you know, like that could be a thing. Read an affirmation. That could be a thing. Take 5 minutes to do a yoga pose or something, you know, like little things like that.
You're literally like describing my things right now. Like, that is what I do. Like, I have the Apple Watch. It sends you like little reminders every hour if you haven't stood up. So like, I'll make sure I get up and do my yoga poses, take the dogs for a walk. I think, and I love what you were touching on about, you know, we, as givers, we give a lot, especially as creatives, right? Like, a little piece of us is going out with whatever we're creating,
Yeah.
we forget that our cup needs filled up too. And one of the ways that I love doing it is like going to Hobby Lobby and just stumbling around, like doesn't have to be anything fancy or big or cost a lot. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs, and maybe you can help with this, is we struggle, especially if we come from a corporate world, where we go from being in corporate 9 to 5, having a regimen, and then working for ourselves from home, most likely. And now we think that we still have to sit there the whole day. So when I first went full time going to Hobby Lobby, I felt like I was like betraying the system almost, So what tips or advice do you have for allowing yourself to fill your cup up?
Yeah. I get that a lot of us want to set hours, and I also struggled with that because I would say I work from 9 to 5, but I'd always be working until 10.
Right.
So even though I would get up, but during that time where 9 to 5, I do now not wash the dishes, play with do the little things that will get me distracted, that will make me not want to go back in.
Sure.
But I do take that hour during lunch. And so then I can go do any of those things that I want to do. But it's different for everyone. Like, I'm going to Bali tonight, so I'm actually not bringing my computer, and I'm taking a week off, and this is my quarterly trip. I do something every quarter for myself, but I built in my wedding to also have time with my fiance. So he's coming with me and I'm working the wedding, but then afterwards we're going to have a couple days together, and we agreed not to bring our computers. And so we need an unplug, and Lord knows. And so we're doing that for us. And it's nerve-wracking because I know how many people need to talk to me all the time. Right. But I'm just like, I put a little thing on my Instagram last night, like, no phone, like, sorry guys, I'm done. And I think people will live, and just getting over that.
I think that's a good mentality. It takes a while and I guess that's kind of what I was saying. Like, it takes a while to get into that mentality of, like, we're not doctors, we're not saving lives. Like, it can wait until tomorrow. For sure, the world will still spin.
Totally. Yeah. And a lot of, I hear that a lot of people struggle with the late night texts from brides. And I have never gotten there where I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night, like the night before, and the bride feels like, because some people need to have time where they don't touch their phone or they turn it off and they do all this stuff. And like, for me personally, like, I've tried that and it gives me anxiety. So I like telling my brides, I'll be there for you 24/7. And then I am. And that's just one of my like specialties that makes me a little bit different than the rest of the people. And like, that's fine. But I always felt guilty that I wasn't following the code of like turning off my phone at night. And like, I don't know. I like doing that. I like feeling like I'm there for them. So also not feeling like you have to go with the grain on everything, and just knowing yourself and testing these other things out. Like, oh, this is a theory. Let me try this. And then, if it doesn't work for you, like crystals work for some people and they don't work for other people, it's just like the way you do things.
Yes.
So there's no shame in that. So
absolutely. I was saying, I'm opposite of you. Like, being available 24/7 gives me anxiety. So like, I turn on the do not disturb at like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm done at that point. And I have my office hours. Now, they're lenient. If I'm at my desk and I'm free to answer, I'm totally going to answer. But otherwise, the 24/7 gives me anxiety. But see, like, there's 2 examples right now of do what works best for you. Don't bog yourself down with thinking that you have to do it one way because somebody else is.
Totally. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So clean mindset is, I think a lot of that has to do with staying positive, which is hard, right? Like, it can be very hard to get out of your own head sometimes. So what tips do you have to help stay focused, stay energized, and stay positive throughout anything? Like, even if you have a crap client review and you're like, but I did everything they asked for. Like, what tips do you have to help just reset your mind, stay clean, get back on course?
Oh, there's a couple. So, like I said, I listen to podcasts. When I'm not podcasting, I'm in the car listening to one. And so yesterday I was listening to this guy. I'll have to give you the name because I feel bad. But he was saying how when you can easily look at somebody else and see all the things that they have that you don't have.
Yeah.
And he was like, I went to yoga and like I couldn't do this pose, and it was like really annoying that like, I was looking at this other person and I was doing the compare thing.
Right.
And that's really toxic to your mind, because you're like, now you're probably not going to like perform to your fullest because you're worried about somebody else.
And you already kind of are like discrediting that you just can't.
Yes.
Right.
And yeah, when you tell yourself you can't, right? So, and then on the other side of the spectrum, there's like as women, I kind of heard like a great example of how this woman would like work in San Francisco. She like walk out of her house, and then she said she got out cuted. And sometimes, like this, she'd think she was so hot, and then a girl would walk by and she'd get out cuted some days, and that would put her down. Yep. And then she said she had a massive wake up call when she moved to New York, and she walked outside and there was it was out hotted every single day, because there's models walking the streets 24/7, and you have to get out of that mindset that like, I feel like this is you kind of put this into the context of Instagram, right? You see everyone's highlight reel and you're like, that girl is so pretty. She's going on this trip. She's doing that. And like, she's so perfect. And we start to think, oh, our pictures don't have that filter. Our life doesn't look like that. Our husband he's not an Instagram husband. We don't have that cute dog. And so we get into that like compare game, and then we start feeling down. And now we're also wasting time on social media going through stalking somebody. And so it's just like, we're all on our own path and we all are doing our own thing. And although you might think that girl is super pretty, she's probably doing the same thing, looking at you saying, oh my God, her life is so simple. She, doesn't have to deal with all these people looking at me all the time. And she can like, she's free to like leave for a couple days and no one's going to ask her where she went. Right. So like, there's, two sides to every, the grass isn't always greener, especially for us. I feel like you kind of just need to do you.
Yes.
And just be cool with that. And if you're not, like maybe you need a little bit of therapy, and that's okay too.
Truly. Yeah. Yes. Like re-examine why do you think that thing will make you happy? Like, what is it about that you think is going to change your life? If you get it and you're still not happy, well, maybe that wasn't really the source of the problem. And I think that is all tied into clean mindset too, being open to maybe not necessarily getting the answer you thought you wanted, and instead getting the answer that you needed.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, is there any kind of like last tips or final thoughts that you want to leave people with in regards to having a clean mindset and just, staying positive as you start your new business?
Yeah, finding a mentor, finding someone to look up to, someone to talk to. We get really lonely. I try to do like one day of co-working a week, or go out and, do my Friday. Like, I still like to feel like I'm part of the, rest of the corporate world on Fridays. I still like to go have a martini somewhere with my girlfriend. And to me, that's, self-care as well. Like, I like to just go powwow with my girlfriend.
Yes.
And I don't think that I'd be where I was if I was negative all the time, because being an entrepreneur, especially starting my own like tool, like a beauty business, something I haven't really done before. I've just kind of always done the makeup. That really took a lot, because again, doing it on my own, I decided not to go the investor route.
Sure.
And I really wanted to do something and give back to other artists by doing a give back program, and like always keeping others in mind, but keeping myself top of mind, I think is the big thing. And if you look at any rising tide leader, like, you can't succeed unless you're really fulfilled and happy, and you're not giving back enough, or you're not giving back if you're not giving yourself enough love and care. So definitely,
that's perfect. That is the perfect way to say it. Like, be thinking of others. That will bring you so much joy, but also make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Like, those go hand in hand. That's perfect. Awesome.
Yes.
Love that. Okay. So tell people where they can find you.
CassandramcClure.com is my website. You guys can go check that out for all my speaking engagements, events. I have my podcast on there, so you can listen to episodes right there, because I know not everyone has iTunes, so you can do Spotify and stuff like that.
Nice.
On there. You can go to lashbinder.com to get one of these guys, get $5 off of the eyelash tool, and that's lashbinder.com. And you can find also on Instagram, lashbinder. And then that's pretty much it. Like, my website is kind of my hub for all the other places you can find me: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Which your website just got a fabulous new makeover, right?
It did. Yeah. I had a girl in Rising Tide, actually. Dream Now Media. Yeah. She's did a great job. She also has a podcast, and I'm just like naturally connecting with other people that are like doing this kind of thing. I feel like video and podcasting is like the way that the world is going. Like, no one has time to like read like long blogs anymore. Like, I know I don't. And so I like listening to a video, whether it's on in the background or and the podcast. I could do that all the time, all day long. And so I think that it's the way that I am. So I'm starting to attract all those other people that are also doing that same sort of thing, whether they're listening or they're creating their own.
Yeah, totally agree. Yep.
Yeah,
same for me.
Even knowing. So yeah.
Right. Isn't that funny how that works? Like, you find your own and it just kind of grows with you and goes off from there. So like,
we get it.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
We know all the hard work that goes into it. We're like respectful of each other's time. We're like, all right, we know that it's not easy, and it just, we're like, all right, we got headphones. Like, other people, like, I just had someone come on, and she's like, why do I need headphones? I was like, you're going to be on a podcast. So,
but it's they don't know what they don't know. So we're here to help, right?
Exactly.
So like you said, they can go to your website and Lashbinder and use code Cassandra to get $5 off. Make sure you check that out. I'll put that all in the description down below as well as your website. But definitely go check her out. Give her a listen, put her podcast on, and just hear all the awesome things. I love, which we didn't talk about today because it's not necessarily related to like starting your biz journey, but like, I'm a clean beauty person as well for, I guess, holistic reasons. Like, I'm a rescue mom, a rescue dog mom. I work a lot with animals. I became a pescatarian. So like, I switched to the clean beauty several years ago. And so when you said that that's what you do as well, I was like, heck yeah, it's my kind of person. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I work with Beauty Counter, so you can also go there if you wanted to like buy products. I'm wearing all Beauty Counter right now, other than my lashes, and they are just a clean, sustainable, and like give back, and like, again, it's just a company that I align with. And so I've never been a consultant with anything before, but I am with them, and I'm so proud because they're such a great company. So I'll have to send you a couple things.
Hey.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being on today and sharing. I feel like you had such great information for just helping entrepreneurs and new business owners really find joy in just being clean and focusing on themselves. So thank you.
Thank you.